in the Concacaf Nations League tonight from SoFi Stadium as Canada takes on Mexico for a chance to face Panama in the 2025 Concacaf Nations League final in front of a packed house here at SoFi Stadium. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, your entire crew, it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. Canada and Mexico meeting in a competitive match for the first time in about 4 years. They met in a friendly back in September, but this one means a whole lot more. Two teams thirsty for that first ever Concacaf Nations League triumph. A beautiful 59 degrees here in Englewood, California, at the beautiful SoFi Stadium, a facility that's hosted a Super Bowl a few seasons back. The LA Rams were triumphant over the Cincinnati Bengals. And, well, tonight, Mexico and Canada, Gary, fight for a spot in the final after Panama defeated three-time champions, the United States, earlier tonight.
That's the huge news, and it's massive for both Canada and Mexico. Javier Aguirre under all sorts of pressure there at Mexico to win this tournament. Well, if he gets past Canada, he's got to fancy his chances, as would Canada if they can win this match. So, huge shock to see the US go out. But both these teams looking for their first win ever. Mexico have lost 2 finals, both to the US. Canada lost 1 final, also to the US. So, US can't win it again. Maybe Mexico or Canada can.
Canada taking care of Suriname over 2 legs in the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinals, winning 4-0 on aggregate. Mexico took a bit of a tougher road to get here. They were 2-0 down against Honduras after the first leg, but they turned it all around in Mexico in a 4-0 triumph in the second leg. The likes of Henry Martin, who's not in the squad for the semis, on the score sheet, along with Raul Jimenez and others. We'll get, of course, to the starting lineups. Lots of talking points there as the pregame festivities here well underway. But, of course, Thomas Christensen's side for Panama were excellent in our first game tonight, dethroning the United States. 3-time Nations League champions will not have a 4th medal just yet. So a new champion will be crowned. And as you alluded to earlier, Gary, that's got to definitely perk the ears up of Canada and Mexico. The big bad wolf is out. Could very well have a chance to put a medal of the gold variety around your neck if you can get through what's going to be a very daunting and physical semifinal here tonight.
Oh, very physical, that's for certain. When these teams meet, there's been big clashes. They met in a so-called friendly last September. 6 yellow cards. Both the current managers were in place then as well, so the managers have bumped heads in a friendly. But, you know, for Jesse Marsch, one would assume he's going to be the coach for the World Cup. For Javier Aguirre, he has to, I think, win this tournament. The rumors amongst the Mexican press is if he doesn't, he's out. So for him, it's more important. If he wins this, he's got a great chance of taking Mexico to the World Cup. And of course, both Mexico and Canada will be co-hosts with the USA.
Yeah, there has been a pattern of Mexican failure at the Concacaf Nations League, coinciding with the sacking of managers in each of the last 3 editions. El Tri hoping to avoid the same fate tonight. And, well, Jesse Marsch had quite a bit to say in the lead-up to this semifinal. The quote that's really been circling is he feels this is the best collection of Canadian players possibly ever assembled in the country's history, and they have certainly have a big opportunity to not only etch their name into Nations League lore, but to plant the flag down as arguably the best team in the region as well. And many in and around the Canadian camp feel like that's part of what they're playing for tonight.
Well, I think he's got a very fair point. I mean, who would argue against Alphonso Davies playing at Bayern Munich? Of course, Jonathan David, or David, they call him David sometimes in France, where he plays at Lille. 224 appearances there, 107 goals for Jonathan David, and Kyle Larin, who won his time in Turkey a couple of years back, was just unstoppable. So 3 wonderful players, and again, as we see the teams line up, if they can get past Mexico, they've got a great chance against Panama. But this Mexican team are a good team. They've got players. Edson Alvarez is a real quality player who probably will drop back into a more centre-back position tonight. We will see when they line up. Great news, Santiago Jimenez starts, the AC Milan striker, along with Raul Jimenez. So it's stacked with talent. They're pumped up. They want to do well, and I think they have the majority of the crowd. Just from what we see so far, I'm going to suggest it's probably 90% Mexican fans.
Well, the last competitive meeting between these two came on November 16, 2021. It was a World Cup qualifier in Canada. Kyle Larin had a brace. Canada beat Mexico by 2-1, ended up topping the qualifying group for the World Cup as well. Canada didn't have the same success they were hoping for at that Qatar World Cup in 2022. Kind of crashed out a bit in the group phase. The last time these two met, though, in a Concacaf major tournament, same year, 2021, it was the Gold Cup semifinal, a game known for how rough and tumble it was. There were quite a few comings together, separations throughout. Mexico won in stoppage time by 2-1 as the two sets of combatants ready themselves for the rematch here in the Nations League tonight. It's the first ever CONCACAF Nations League finals meeting between Canada and Mexico, and there can't be much more on the line than there is tonight. A place in the final at stake against Panama, who upset the United States earlier here tonight inside of a packed SoFi Stadium, covered mostly in the green of Mexico, but you can see some red and white of the Maple Leaf supporters supporting Canada as well. We will step aside for a moment. The lineups are next, followed by the highly anticipated kickoff to this CONCACAF Nations League second semifinal.
Please rise for the national anthem of Canada. Mexico.
Well, a fabulous atmosphere, fabulous renditions of both countries' national anthems as the two semi-finalists exchange pleasantries here at SoFi Stadium here in Englewood, California. Sean St. Jacques, Manchester United legend, Gary Bailey, our entire crew. It is a privilege to be with you tonight to see who our second finalist will be to take on the Canalmen in the 2025 Nations League final. But Gary, we get into Jesse Marsch's starting 11 for Canada, and there's plenty of attacking firepower led by the captain, Alphonso Davies of Bayern Munich.
He's a superstar on that left-hand side, bombing up and down. There are four players, including Alphonso Davies, who've come in from the team that beat Suriname. Derek Cornelius in defense, Ishmael Kone in midfield, and Jonathan Osorio, and of course up front, Kyle Larin, Jonathan David. They are the key players, I would suggest, for Canada going forward.
Kyle Larin and Jonathan David in particular are going to be the two danger men as far as finishing off some of those chances. Said Martinez of Honduras leads our on-field officiating crew, all represented by Honduras. As the two captains meet in the center, Edson Alvarez plays for West Ham United in the English Premiership, and the aforementioned Alphonso Davies just signed a new extension at Bayern Munich that'll take him throughout the rest of the 2020s with the German Giants. They exchange pleasantries in the center with our on-field officiating crew as we dive into Javier Aguirre's starting 11 for El Tri. And, well, really, the big news here is that it's going to be Jimenez squared up top. Raul and Santiago will play together, Gary.
Yeah, also four changes from their team that beat Honduras 4-0 in their last big outing. And you're right, Santiago Jimenez up front, and so excited to see him alongside Raul Jimenez and Alexis Vega. Also coming in, Israel Reyes, Roberto Alvaro, and mentioned Santiago Jimenez, and Johan Vasquez. And what we think will be a 3-4-3 shape. We're not 100% certain as to how Aguirre is going to line them up, as opposed to Canada's 4-4-2.
We do have VAR, of course, as well. Benjamin Pineda, Jesus Montero of Costa Rica will be who we turn to if we need anything reviewed tonight. Well, certainly all eyes have been on this fixture in particular. It's been a rivalry that has been slowly bubbling over the last 5 or 6 years. That Gold Cup semi-final the two played back in 2021 kind of felt like the launch point to another big Concacaf rivalry. And it does feel like it's going to be another fever pitch kind of night here in Englewood, California. See that Mexico are going to be in black from head to toe. And it will be Canada in white with the red trim and shorts. Storylines galore, stars galore, eyeballs galore on this Concacaf Nations League second semi-final. Off we go from Englewood, California, here in SoFi Stadium. Mexico kick us off. They'll be going from right to left. Winner gets Panama in the Concacaf Nations League final. Especially of late, anytime Canada and Mexico get together, friendly or not, it is physical, it is fast-paced, and there's going to be a ton to keep an eye on as we move it forward here this evening. And of course, stars and talent galore on either side. Jesse Marsch feels it's arguably the best Canadian set of players that maybe the Federation's ever put together for a camp. Not a bad time to save it on a big night like this. But Mexico are off to the races here. Raul Jimenez has scored inside of a minute for El Tri.
What a great start. Absolutely brilliant. Tucks it away. And here's their top goal scorer, 36 goals in 109 matches. Make that 37 and 110. Early pressure. And felt Canada could have done a lot better defensively not to allow that to break through the middle. But that's the pressure that was put on right from the beginning. They've got more fans behind them in the stadium. They've got the vibe. He takes the salute. Raul Jimenez, 33 years of age. But look at the number of white shirts around here, not able to deal with it. They've got the numbers. Yeah, lucky bobble perhaps. But you've got to do better than that. And they get absolutely punished by the most dangerous player there, Raul Jimenez. And the build-up, Roberto Alvarado, one of the changes, gets involved in this as well there. He takes a little half-hearted shot. They get a lucky bounce, but he tucks it away in style.
dream start for Mexico, and Canada have to rip up their own script inside of 60 seconds. Once again, when needed, Raul Jimenez delivers for Mexico on the big stage. Scored a vital goal in the comeback against Honduras in the quarterfinals. And Jesse Marsh's side quickly on the back foot. They wanted to be aggressive. They wanted to go right after Mexico. They've been quickly pegged back.
Been interesting, Raul Jimenez got the first goal in that 4-0 win. So again, crucial to get his team on the front foot. And the moment he got through, you're thinking this is a certain goal. He's too good a finisher not to polish that one off. This is a big test now for Canada. Just saying, the crowd is behind Javier Aguirre's side there, and they're 1-0 up, and they've got the prospect of Panama in the final. They have got to be so pumped up. It's going to take a great effort now from Canada to come away with victory here tonight.
Surely when Javier Aguirre's head hit the pillow last night, he couldn't have dreamed of a better start. In his third stint with El Tri. Again, like you said earlier, Gary, there's just bucket loads of pressure on him to get Mexico through, not just the semifinal, but to win the final as well. He's off to a perfect start.
It certainly is, but a long way to go in this match, obviously. And there's a very good Canada side. I thought Jesse Marsh put himself under a bit of pressure by saying it's the best Canadian side of all time, because the expectation is he'll win. But when you got Jonathan David up front and Kyle Larin, you've got players who can turn a game, and of course Alphonso Davies down the left-hand side. So, you know, Canada must just keep cool, keep playing their football, and there's every chance they can get themselves back in the match.
An early ball was played over the top back towards Jimenez. More Mexican pressure. It's a takeaway. And Raul Jimenez tried to slip it through for Santi Jimenez. Vega. It's a full reset. Charlie Rodriguez and company out to the far side. And there's a player down from Mexico. And the referee is going to bring it to a halt.
There's a bit of a collision in midfield there, and straight away the player went down. That's why the referee stopped it. Unless it's a head wound, he's under no obligation to stop it, but he just felt there was an immediate problem.
Steven Eustachio is also in a little bit of discomfort for Canada, away from the main situation here. Another look. Oh, it's Raul Jimenez who actually bumps into a Canadian defender. Well, he's got quite the dark history at times with injuries himself, particularly that head injury he suffered as a member of Wolverhampton Wanderers a few years back. Kept him out of football for quite some time, but we always know he can finish very, very well. Raul Jimenez, he's been doing it for Fulham, and very recently, and including tonight, for El Tri as well.
Just looking at it from a goalkeeping point of view, just wonder if Dane Sinclair could have come off a little bit quicker. Seemed to wait and wait, and by the time he came past, it was all set up for Raul Jimenez. Maybe I'm just picking on it here. It's so much time anyway. It would have been difficult for Dane Sinclair any which way, but just felt he could have put a touch more pressure on the striker.
We'll need a check on this, but that might be one of the earliest waves we've ever seen at a Mexico match. Santi Jimenez, the target over the top. It's well shepherded by Moise Bombito. Certainly has a bright future for himself, not just with Canada, but in his club career as well. Plays for Nice in Ligue 1 in France. All the way back for Luis Malagón. No Memo Ochoa in the Mexican roster for these semifinals. And certainly this man, Alphonso Davies, will be looked after to try to help Canada bounce back from the early blow. The ball's looped over the top, and it's a cushioned header all the way back to the goalkeeper, Malagón.
We are talking about the physical nature of these matches, and we were chatting before the show, but for those who just joined, 6 yellow cards in their last friendly. If you get 6 in a friendly, then a serious match like this has the potential to blow up. But Mexico in the lead. They're a hard side to break down. They're they're very clever at closing the game down, giving you very little defensively, and we thought before the match there would be a lot of little irritating moments that might get the Canadians upset. They're going to have to keep their cool as they go along. And already Jonathan David with a bang on the back of the head.
Jonathan David does win a free kick for Canada here. Jesse Marsh, former Leeds United manager, saved them from relegation in the English Premiership, but then was let go the season after. Of course, known for being the coach at New York Red Bulls, RB Leipzig, and Red Bull Salzburg, where he won a league title in Austria as well. And of course, as a former U.S. men's international as a player as well, Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, no, 321 matches in the MLS, so he's a seasoned player in his time. Done a good job. A lot of folk in the USA thought that maybe he should have been the coach for the USA, but Canada were lucky they got their man.
Of course, led Canada to that semi-final appearance. The last summer's Copa America, the only team that beat them, and they beat them twice, was Lionel Messi's Argentina in the group stage and in the eventual semi-final. A little ball looped over the top here. Oh, and it was followed up on inside the penalty area, and Canada are saying it should have been handled in a possible penalty here. The referees pointed in the opposite direction for a Mexico free kick, and it's Derek Cornelius who lies down in the penalty area.
Well, there is VAR, so, ooh, absolutely. That's a penalty. He's got to the ball and got kicked. I'm pretty sure VAR, from what we've just seen there, VAR is going to take a very, very close look at that and maybe ask the referee to come and review the situation.
Jesse Marsh in the Canadian touchline is begging that VAR take a look at this. Alvarez, like you said, Gary, made the contact. Benjamin Pineda, Jesus Montero would be the two taking a close look at that.
The whole match coming to a stop now for the injury, but I think it's also to force VAR to have a good look at the situation. He gets the ball and he gets kicked. I don't think you can get clearer than that, to be honest. Unless the referee feels the ball was kicked away and he was never going to get the ball. That maybe comes into it. And no, they're not going to give it. Well, the only conclusion I can come to is the ball was kicked away, and even if he wasn't tripped, it was never going to be his ball. But wow,
Jesse Marsh,
contact.
Jesse Marsh fuming in the Canadian technical area here. On top of that, to add insult to Canadian injury, Mexico were given a free kick for that as well. We're being told it's because Cornelius's boot was a high boot.
Really? Didn't seem to be that high. And he got kicked at the same height anyway, so the defender was as high.
Well, and Jesse Marsh seems to be in lockstep with you, Gary. He still can't believe the decision.
Well, it's been made, and I think that's what the fourth official's saying. It's been made, that's it, move on, and Canada have to. But just shows you how they can get back in the game quickly. They have, just having a look at the early parts of the game, they're physically big and strong up front. Canada, they've got some big boys that if the ball starts bouncing around in there is going to cause problems, as we saw with Derek Cornelius, the centre-back getting up there. So that's maybe where Canada's goals can come from, besides, of course, the normal runs of Alphonso Davies, perhaps, or the skills of Jonathan David. They've got the big height and strength that they can bring into play to Canada.
Remember, no Cesar Montes suspended for the semi-final for Mexico, so that's a big loss right in the middle of that defensive group. One of the reasons that the likes of Edson Alvarez are in that back line is it's a cross in from Ali Ahmed, and Canada will get a corner on the near side. Ahmed's been in excellent form recently for Vancouver Whitecaps in Major League Soccer.
Well, these are the moments for Canada, as we're just talking about their height and physical strength. Let's see what happens.
Well, the referee trying to sort out some extracurriculars here, and Canada are queuing up outside the penalty area to start this. Ahmed to deliver. And Ahmed's ball in is going to go just over the top of the head of Moise Bombito. Canadians will recycle the possession with Kone. And Alphonso Davies strides into the penalty area here. Cross into the middle is blocked. Canada can pick up the pieces. Ahmed across, and it's placed over the top by Jonathan David.
Good movement of the ball there by Canada. Some lovely interplay. Brilliant here, and eventually the shot comes in. I fancy him, of all people, should hit target there. Maybe he felt the ball came a little bit quickly to him, Jonathan David, but given his scoring record in French Ligue 1, 107 goals in 224 matches, I thought that one was certainly going to test Luis Malagon in goals.
He also leads Canada in Nations League goals, has 7 in his career with the Canadians.
Lovely interplay from Canada on that right-hand side there. Very intricate play, and again, as you mentioned, Jesse Marsh saying it's the best Canadian side of all time. It's very hard to disagree with him.
It's not just the big name players playing at big clubs. It just feels like the group is really tight, and Jesse Marsh spoke in the build-up about how they've gotten so much closer together, the each passing international window. So it's not just the resume, it's the camaraderie amongst the Canadian group that's really encouraged Jesse Marsh and provided the confidence. And well, we told you there's going to be some comings together tonight between Canada and Mexico. Here's the latest thing for the referee to sort out. Vasquez and Kyle Larin needing to be talked to here. Canada with a long throw. Alvarez just trying to sweep it away. Not definitively cleared yet. It's touched along here for Ali Ahmed and Jonathan David. Ahmed plays it across, nobody there, and Vasquez will clear for Mexico. Critical intervention by Bombito to stop the break.
Good defense by Mexico. Let's give them credit, because they were coming under pressure. That again, Canada moving the ball nice and quickly from foot to foot, and Mexico just biding their time, waiting, closing everyone down, waiting for the bad pass, and then clearing it down the pitch. But the pressure has been on Mexico since they scored, and again, look at the high press, the number of white shirts and red shorts that are just around Malagon's goal.
For those just switching it on, Raul Jimenez scoring for Mexico inside of a minute to give El Tri the lead in this Concacaf Nations League semifinal. The winner gets Panama, who took out the United States by a 1-0 earlier tonight. Canada still in search of an opportunity that could get them off the mat here, and Davies finds Malagon. More encouraging signs, though, every time Canada move it forward. Jesse Marsh is applauding on that near touchline. Alvarez for Johan Vasquez, who was put under a bit of pressure and forced to clear it out. Marsh is right there to get Canada back on it. They want to work quickly and at a very high work rate. Maybe too quickly on that occasion.
Yeah, there isn't any need to sort of over-rush the situation. You've still got most of the game left. But of course, the problem is if you let Mexico attack and they get a second goal, then you are chasing the game down. So they want to keep them pressed in their own half. They want to probe away. They've played some lovely football, Canada, so far.
Mexico 57% possession so far. 16 minutes and change gone as Santi Jimenez thought he had gotten past Alphonso Davies. The referee needed to blow the whistle a second time here, and Jimenez would not allow Canada to get the restart going. That's going to be a warning.
Well, we said it's going to be chippy. There's going to be lots of dark arts in this match. And it can be very frustrating for whoever plays on the receiving end of the dark arts, but they're just got to take a deep breath, keep going. And if it's like this with 5 minutes to go, I can promise you it's going to be nervy and chippy and all sorts of stuff going on. But
well, that was a hopeful ball over the top. It actually nearly went into the path of Jonathan Osorio. Not quite able to get on the end of it. To your point, Gary, one of many reasons why Mexico's tough to beat when they get the lead, when they have something to protect. All of those factors come into play and helps them at times to manage the match and get it over the line. But to be fair, still very early to be talking about the end. Osorio able to find Davies. It could be a chance here for Laren. Alistair Johnson, who plays for Celtic in the Scottish Premiership, went just behind him. Raul Jimenez. He's brought down in the end by Bombito. It's a free kick, and there's no love lost between those two.
all part of trying to get the opponent into trouble, and he does. There goes the yellow card.
Bombito does get the yellow card for clipping Jimenez.
And if that's the standard for, I mean, there's a coming together. I didn't think it was intentional. Let's have a look at it. Well, actually, on second thought, when you see it like that, yeah, that's a yellow card, no question. But that's got to be the standard now going forward for all those sort of contact moments.
Well, we're going to find out a lot about Canada's resolve, and now Mexico are in behind again. Huge save from St. Clair. Flag stayed down. Huge chance for Roberto Alvarado to double El Tri's lead.
Well, I'm waiting for the flag to go up, because the way the Canadian defenders seem to react, their hands went up immediately. Let's have a look. No, he's onside. What a good run. And again, a good save. You've got to say Dane Sinclair has just helped Canada. If they go 2-0 down there, they're in all sorts of trouble.
Still a corner to defend. And from the corner, it was nearly up for grabs in the middle of the penalty area. Johnston with the header away for Canada. Malagon up ahead. It just went over the head of Johan Vasquez, who actually could have flicked it down the line. Mexico will settle for the throw.
Stressful moments for Jesse Marsh. His team have played some lovely football, but to be fair, the two best chances have been the goal and that chance moments ago for Roberto Alvarado. So to give the Mexicans credit, they haven't had many chances around the box, but when they have, they've been extremely dangerous.
On the turn, Jonathan David, early ball in behind. Malagon is just about able to get there ahead of Kyle Laren. Davies from the throw, it's quick. Laren, lovely control initially. Edson Alvarez with the ball away, and then a couple of flicked headers to help it along. A second ball has bounced out on the field. More shenanigans here. Ali Ahmed. Kone. And Mexico are not going to kick the ball up. No, now they are. Kone. Bombito to Ali Ahmed. Little flick over the top. Alistair Johnston is in. It's good build-up play. The cross is blocked by Vasquez.
They get numbers behind the ball, Mexico. Look at those black shirts. Very little space, and they're very narrow through the middle. They force you wide. They just make sure that it's almost impossible to drive a ball through the middle.
Ahmed slithering a pass through here. Davies. And it's going to be a foul and a free kick. Oh, it's going to go against Canada here. And Alphonso Davies sees a yellow card as well.
Well, we said 6 yellow cards in the friendly a year ago. To be fair, it is. You've gone over the top. It's very similar to the other yellow card that was given for Bombito. So Canada only themselves to blame there from overstretching, but 6 yellow cards in a friendly. And we've got 2 already, so Who knows how this match is going to end up, but you do think there's the potential now for two players to get a second yellow and be sent off. So both those players for Canada have to be very careful.
These already feel like very important minutes upcoming for Canada to try and hang around here. Another whistle there. It's a Canada free kick this time. Eyes were briefly over to Raul Jimenez for potential involvement there.
It was a little bit late on that header he came in for, a bit of shoulder to shoulder, so that's why the referee just gave the free kick, because it was a late contact.
Eustachio. Bombito. David is going to play it all the way back. Played out wide by Cornelius. That early goal's also really allowed the noise from the Mexican supporters to build with each passing moment here. And I think Canada know they're in a cauldron here in Englewood tonight. But they get a throw-in on the near side. Eustachio. Kone brought down, free kick.
Good position for a free kick. Can maybe just loop it high into the box for the big guys to get on the end of. Again, as you spoke about it, physically the Canadians look bigger than the Mexicans. And if you get Cornelius and Bombito, the two center backs in there as well, alongside Jonathan David, you've got a number of good strikers to aim for. Kyle Laren's got height as well.
And a wonderful player to deliver the set piece, and Alphonso Davies, one of the best on planet football from this position, although he's going to play it short. And then the ball over the top is wasteful in search of Ali Ahmed, and it fizzles out.
There's a few arms up in the middle from players saying, just put the ball where it's most dangerous. Don't overcomplicate the game. I mean, that is their advantage, the height. So why not play straight to it? Easy for us to sit here and suggest what might happen. Maybe, obviously, Jesse Marsh has gone through it in detail. He thought that might work and it might expose the defense of Mexico. But sometimes the obvious ball into a danger area is a good ball.
Alvarado leads Mexico up the other end. Davies recovers well. But Alvarado does well to find a teammate, and then the return ball from Charlie Rodriguez soars out of play. Ahmed. And Ahmed is going to be fouled here by Jesus Gallardo. Quickly played up ahead for Kone. Kone trying to slip it through, cleared away. And a good tussle for it in the middle of the park. Santi Jimenez comes out with it. Still Jimenez on that far side, and he tries to wriggle past a couple defenders. He does find Alvarado. Mexico do very well there to keep the possession going. Gallardo just put his foot on the brake just for the moment. Alvarez, midfielder by trade, but he's played center back plenty of times before for Mexico. People around the club, supporters, have questioned that decision at times, but he's forced to play there this evening as Ali Ahmed is taken out. Free kick, yellow card going to come out here as well. It would appear for Alexis Vega. Yes, he says it was the shoulder, referee having none of it.
He sees it more as a professional foul, the referee. You're behind the ball coming back. The opposition have got a great run. They're through ahead of you. He's behind him. It's not shoulder to shoulder, really, is it, when you're behind the player? Brings him down, and that's going to be a free kick. And Jesse Marsh trying to get the crowd going. I want to say, Jesse, you've only got about 10% Canadians in there, but maybe he wants those 10% to make as much noise as possible. Now, will they put the ball in the danger area this time around?
And Jesse Marsh, very fond of Ali Ahmed. We talked about his exploits earlier with Vancouver Whitecaps. We're off to a flying start, not just in MLS this season, but also in the Concacaf Champions Cup. And Malagon actually lost the ball, but the referee gives a free kick, presumably for a collision.
Yeah, there was. He had the ball in his hands, then he got bumped. You can't tackle the keeper once he's already got control of the ball. Keeper does well. Have a look. He gets it, and then he gets hit. You can't do that. That was from Moyes Bombito. Goalkeeper doing really well there.
He's on a yellow card.
Yes, he's
a bit careful.
Good point. He's got to be careful. But that's nice goalkeeping, because Luis Malagon will know that some of his players are going to struggle height-wise against the Canadians. And when the goalkeeper comes and gets it, even if he does get fouled, that makes all the defenders relax a little bit more, know that their goalkeeper can come and help them when needed.
Malagon under some pressure here. Just about gets it to Vega, and Vega is fouled.
That's risky from Johnston, going in there, not getting the ball first.
Just a talking to, it appears, and it's going to be, it looks like, a final warning.
But look here as he comes in. See, you're stretching with the leg out. The problem that, or the risk with that is, if you don't get the ball, there's every chance you get the player. And once your foot's high, not only is it a likely yellow card, it can even be potentially a red.
Santi Jimenez. Mexico keep it on this near side. It nearly fell back into Santiago Jimenez's path. But it's Kone back to St. Clair. It's a good Mexico pressure. This is kind of what Canada want to do up the other end. Eustaquio is able to emerge. He slipped as he tried a cross-field pass looking for Davies. Jonathan David, though, helps to pick up the pieces here. And then it's a good challenge defensively. Alvarado out for a throw. Kone. Lovely skill. And then Kone is tripped up.
Oh, good run. They're asking for a yellow card, the Canadian. They're getting upset with the referee and surrounding him. They have got, we're just saying, they've got great skills, the Canadians. A lot of people around the world watching will think, well, is Canada really a footballing nation? But that's why Jesse Marsh has said this is the best group ever. The skills, that they've got pace, they can dribble. Great finishing from the likes of Jonathan David and Carl Laren. Incredible pace, of course, from Alphonso Davies. They've got a whole lot there in this team, and that's why, as you quite rightly said at the beginning, Jesse Marsh wants to win this tournament and proclaim Canada as the best in the Concacaf region.
Malagon wants to move the Mexican wall here, just outside the penalty area, as we approach the half-an-hour mark here in Englewood. Alphonso Davies strikes for goal, and Malagon was well positioned. It was dipping, but he fields it well, the goalkeeper.
He does. There was 3, if not 4 white shirts that rushed onto him. Have a look here. Look at the white shirts. If he drops this, they're going to pounce. They're all waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he holds on nice and tightly.
Ball was clipped forward by Gallardo. And it's a lovely switch of play. Eric Lira, though, actually comes up short. But Mexico do well to pounce on the opportunity here. Raul Jimenez trying to cross, looking for his counterpart, Santi Jimenez. Corner for Mexico.
A good steal of the ball on the edge of the box. Aguirre is being spoken to by the referee. Probably a warning just to stay within his technical area. But again, Mexico, they managed to soak up the pressure, and then when they get the other end, they're so tricky and dangerous around the box.
From the set piece. It's whipped in at the near post. Oh, and the header is just wide from Johan Vasquez.
That is a fantastic header. Really is whipped in. They're standing, waiting there, the Canadian defenders. Instead of going to meet the ball, he runs to meet it and gets in front of them and gets that touch. And he wasn't far away from sticking it either on target or getting it onto one of his other strikers at the far post.
Ball lofted over the top here. Kyle Larin with the angle against him. Sends it into the SoFi Stadium seats.
Not impressed with himself. It's mumbling away. There was a body, Canadian body in the middle of the box there. An accurate cross might have led to something.
Oh, second time we've had a second ball on the pitch here. Again, in Mexico's hour of need, Raul Jimenez has given El Tri the lead. It looked, would you argue, Gary, the more likely to add on compared to Canada's potential response, but there have certainly been Canadian chances, that's for sure.
Yeah, they just look more clinical, Mexico, when they get around the box, more dangerous. Canada, though, have had some lovely build-up play. Oh, that's going to get you a yellow.
Oh, Johnston got the talking to earlier, and the referee's a man of his word. It's a yellow card on the next challenge.
So it's 3 of Canada's back 4 on the book now. The dangers of a second yellow for one of those defenders is just going up exponentially here. And of course Mexico know that, so they're going to run at those 3 defenders. They're going to try and commit them to a bad tackle and get them sent off, and it's a vulnerability you don't need when you're a defender. If you look at the yellow card for Mexico, it goes to Alexis Vega, who's an attacker, so he can afford not to make those tackles. But 3 defenders, wow, tough situation for Canada.
Well, Canada do have 3 defenders available in reserves. This was the 4-man back line that Jesse Marsh really was going to entrust to lead Canada to victory tonight. If the likes of Jamie Knight-Labelle and Joel Waterman, Nico Sigur on the bench. All players not as familiar with big nights like this in Concacaf. Throw in for Ali Ahmed to take. And Johnston follows up, falls for Ahmed. Oh, then it's brought back for a free kick from Mexico here. Johnston now a bit perplexed.
Every time he makes a tackle, the Mexicans are likely to roll down. They're looking to get him sent off, and he's got himself in a situation where he's on a yellow, and that's why they're going to do that. Every single tackle, when they see him or Alphonso Davies or Johnston, they will look for contact. It's the dark arts of the game, but it's the sort of dark arts you have to master if you're going to go on to do well in world football.
The winner of this semi-final will get Panama in the Concacaf Nations League final. Cecilio Waterman with a stoppage time winner to knock out the 3-time defending champions, the U.S., in our first semi-final earlier this evening. Eustachio, he won too many juggles there, but Canada does get the throw.
By the way, just a point about Panama for those thinking, well, it'll be an easy game. They are ranked 36th in the world by FIFA, Canada 31 and Mexico 19. So no, it's not going to be an easy game. They're a very well-organized side, and they really showed it tonight in beating the USA earlier on.
What a job Thomas Christensen has done with the Canalmen. They did get to the 2023 Gold Cup final. Panama, they lost to Mexico, a late Santi Jimenez winner. Right at the end of the 90 minutes, so El Tri lift the trophy again. So Panama will get a chance to lift their big trophy.
Yeah, I might be stating the obvious, but in case anyone doesn't know, the Panama Canal links one side of the US or the sort of North America mainland to the other, hence the Canal Man. There might be the odd person around the world who doesn't know that fact, so just to help them understand that. But it's a small country, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Not small on talent, though, as we found out earlier again.
To be 36th in the world,
yeah,
with a small amount of players to choose from is very impressive.
Here's Kone for Canada. Osorio was making the run. He drifted into an offside position. Larin linking up here. Another good marauding run. It's Alistair Johnson. Maybe a chance here. Davies on this near side. It's deflected high into the air for Luis Malagón.
Johan Vasquez there with the block, and what they're doing so well, the Mexicans, is they're not diving in, they're not giving away yellows, or not, they haven't given away many on the edge of their box, or free kicks rather, or yellows. They've been very careful with how they stop Canada, and they've done a very good job. They just wait and wait. They're patient. They just wait for that mistake. Oh, that's a late one, not given.
That was Vega, who is on a yellow, and Vega follows up to block the Ali Ahmed cross. Out for a Canada corner, and Jesse Marsh wants more and more of that.
You see, Vega made contact and tripped a Canadian player. The dark odds suggest you stay down and try and get him sent off, and Canada don't do that. Now, many will say, well, that's played in the right spirit, but your main aim is to win the game.
Another bit of exchanging of words here on the edge of the penalty area. Referee on the scene again to keep the peace. Ali Ahmed to deliver. From the corner, it was near Davies, who couldn't quite square it up. And Raul Jimenez trying to break Mexico out here up the other end. Vega. Raul Jimenez continued his run. It's a lovely ball played in behind that takes him towards this sideline. Oh, and then Johnston does make contact with him, and again the referee will have a word. Of course, Mexico won a second yellow.
This will be a final warning. There's absolutely no question this is a final warning for Alistair Johnston, and perhaps now would be a good time to get him off and replace him. He's caught him on the back of the ankle, and he's waiting for that, Raul Jimenez. He's a clever player. He knows that Alistair Johnston's on a yellow. He's waiting for that contact, and down he goes.
This is going to be part of Canada keeping their cool. That was a big storyline coming into tonight. Alistair Johnston is already on the verge here. Set piece for Mexico. Is whipped in brilliantly. It's a diving header, and it's 2-0. Or is it? Edson Alvarez puts it into the back of the net. The flag is up. VAR will be checking it.
Oh, what a good ball in. Absolutely brilliant. Whipped in, and a fantastic diving finish. We wait to see if he is at all. In that picture, he is offside, I would think. But take nothing away from the ball in. It was absolutely superb.
Did not take VAR too long to confirm that Edson Alvarez drifted offside. Still just 1-0 for Mexico for now. Johnston threads it through here. Eustaquio. Ahmed. Eustaquio to the byline. Eustaquio falls down, and he was the last to touch it. It's a goal kick.
It's been an exciting game. It really has. We thought it would be from the beginning, because these two, they always go at it. And it's different types of football, one style versus the other. And they've done so well, Mexico, and could have very close to getting a second, and that's how they can beat Canada. Because when they're in attack, the quality of their passes in the final third is so good.
The ball was looped over the top there. It appears that Laren bumped into Johan Vasquez, so it's going to be a free kick for El Tri. Ooh, and Johan Vasquez needs a moment here. About 5 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half. Oh, a little shush there from Vasquez. Maybe one or two Canadian players giving him a word or two.
They're just saying that he's lying down there wasting time and slowing the game down.
First time we've seen Jesse Marsh sit down tonight as well. Both coaches have been just as fired up as the players. And now a free kick here for Canada. Jimenez and Kone getting into it. Both Jimenez is getting into it with Ismael Kone, and Kone has to keep his cool as well. Mexico are going to keep picking fights here.
Alphonso Davies, the man down. I just wondered if there was a kick on him and whether VAR will look at it, but they're blaming Raul Jimenez and saying he's looking for trouble. Yeah, got your hands full there, referee, that's for certain.
It's been kicking off. Two different conversations broke out. Jimenez was slapping a hand away. That was the challenge, Raul Jimenez on Davies. Canada got the free kick, but then there was some pushing afterwards, and of course, words were exchanged afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't see much from Raul Jimenez that he did wrong. Maybe as he lands, he just catches the back of the ankle there. I don't think he meant it. Some of the Canadian players perhaps think he did. But he doesn't stand on him there. He tries to step over Alphonso Davies. So, but this will go on. And as we get closer to the end, if it stays this close, there'll be plenty more of this to and fro between the teams.
Another one here. There was a push in the back from Johan Vasquez. And the referee books him for it. He took out Kyle Larin as the ball was floating over the top. I don't think the ball was anywhere near Larin. It was completely unnecessary.
And there's this constant conversation between the players as they try and explain what each other did. But Canada sort of trying to play the same dark arts of going down and getting players yellow carded. So where are we up to? We have 5 yellow cards. The last one had 6 in a friendly over 90 minutes. We've reached 5 already. We haven't even got to half time.
2 for Mexico and 3 for Canada. Vasquez and Vega for El Tri. And you rightly mentioned it earlier, Gary. 3 of the 4 defensive back line players for Canada. Davies, Bombito, and Johnston all on a yellow. Vasquez's yellow confirmed there. And Canada are in very good position here to at least try to test Luis Malagón at a bare minimum here. Ahmed and Davies. It's Alphonso Davies. Oh! Was not far away, but I think Malagón knew where that was going to end up.
He does well. He gets it over the wall, so it seems it's the right height, and you're thinking that's going in the top corner. Maybe he's pulled it too much, and what to see from behind. Here we go. We'll see how close it is. It eventually bent away. It started off on track to go in the top corner, then bent away at the end.
Another player for the big occasion amongst the Canadian ranks. Alphonso Davies still has so many, I should say, big years ahead in his career. Tonight, you could argue one of the biggest nights of his international footballing career for many of these Canadian players. Mexico will get the throw as we approach first half stoppage time. It's a game you just cannot take your eyes off it. You're going to miss something. From the throw, Santi Jimenez is fouled by Derek Cornelius, the only backline player not on a yellow card. I think it'll stay that way for now, but it's a Mexico free kick. It'll essentially be a short corner.
Santiago Jimenez just waiting for the contact there. It looked like he might have felt contact on his left ankle. Certainly Derek Cornelius doesn't think so.
We're into 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the half in this Nations League semi. Ali Ahmed has to back up a little bit, was within the 10-yard range of this free kick. Looking for Vasquez, finds Alvarez, who couldn't get it out from underneath his feet. Kyle Larin, he's gonna be fouled by Edson Alvarez, free kick. Dane St. Clair will send it ahead. Made a big save early on to keep it at 1-0.
Certainly did. Roberto Alvarado got through one-on-one with him. A crucial save. If they'd been down 2-0, then it would have been a massive hill to climb back up, but goalkeeper save today for Canada.
Two minutes left in the half. St. Clair. Header was won by Gallardo. Eustachio. Lays it off in the end for Bombito, and is not on the same page with Ali Ahmed. Well, there's your goal scorer. Of course, Edson Alvarez just a few moments ago had one ruled out for offside as well. And besides a couple of free kicks, Canada have had mostly half chances. Lovely build-up play at times, but not as sharp in the final third. At least not yet. Kone floats it over to the far side. There's time and space here for Alphonso Davies to survey the scene. Kone again. Davies. Final seconds of the half. Still Alphonso Davies, quick feet. Could not pick anyone out. Israel Reyes clears Mexico's lines.
You have to think that's something that Canada needs to do more of second half, is get Alphonso Davies in that forward position. They sort of drop into a back three when he goes up. And his pace is frightening, so they've got to get him attacking Mexico down the Mexico right back position.
Bombito switching the point of the attack. Davies did not keep it in. It's a Mexico throw, as that'll take us to the end of the 3 added minutes. And in turn, the end of the half here in Englewood. Raul Jimenez scoring seconds into the game to give Mexico a coveted 1-0 advantage. Edson Alvarez had a goal ruled out for offside. There were a couple other close calls. Canada have certainly played their part, Gary, but it's Mexico that have the halftime lead.
They do have the halftime lead. They have 3 of Canada's back 4 on yellow cards and Alistair Johnson on a final warning. So I think they have to get him off. Otherwise, they risk a red card for him second half. So certainly they've got the better of it at this point in time, Mexico. But the quality of Canada is there for all to see. And they could very easily get themselves back in this match in the second half.
We will have highlights and stats to come here in Englewood. Halftime in the Concacaf Nations League semis. It's Canada 0. It's Mexico 1.
Mic check, mic check.
So welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, ready to get the second half started. We're at SoFi Stadium in Englewood, California. Mexico leading Canada by 1-0. Concacaf Nations League semifinals. The winner will get Panama in the 2025 Concacaf Nations League final. After Panama were wonderful earlier this evening, they knocked off the 3-time defending champions, the United States, by 1-0. Cecilio Waterman winning it in stoppage time and celebrating with Thierry Henry. That was an interesting moment from our first game of the night, the French and world footballing legend. Doesn't appear that there's any changes for either side. We were talking off-air, Gary, that certainly players at the back for Canada, particularly Alistair Johnston, maybe throw in Moise Bombito, have to be very careful sitting on yellow cards for Canada at the start of the second half. Should mention as well Johan Vasquez, Alexis Vega on yellow cards for Mexico. Alphonso Davies also on a booking for Jesse Marsh's side.
Yeah, particularly Alistair Johnston. He was warned at the end. Not only did he have a yellow card, he then fouled, had a couple of fouls, and the referee walked across and basically gave him a final warning. If you're Mexico, you're going to target him. You're going to run into him, bump him, take the ball at him, try and dribble around him. Just get any way in which you can get him to commit.
Early ball played in behind there. It's cleared out by Vasquez. Positive play from Ahmed. It's a throw-in.
That's why I think these first sort of 10 minutes or so for Canada, absolutely crucial. Can't afford to get anyone, especially him in picture, Alistair Johnston, a second yellow, and they're going to try and get back in the match. So some real work to do. If they can get level, this is going to turn in, is a good match already. It's going to turn into a cracking game.
Canada with a long throw, and it's Davies. Oh, just wide again. Looked like he struck it with the outside of his boot. More encouraging signs for Jesse Marsh and the Canadians.
Yeah, it's an awkward strike. He doesn't catch it cleanly. His body's not in the right shape for it. He sort of just has a flash at it and totally mishits it. And it was a great opportunity. Nobody was closing down. If they were still a good couple of yards away. So he had time to really make sure he got a good contact.
Not nearly fall kindly for Kyle Larin in behind. There's a Mexico player down as Canada do get the throw. Looks like it might be Edson Alvarez, yes, who's down for El Tri, had a goal ruled out in the first half, and this might be a possible head injury here that might need further evaluation for Javier Aguirre's side, or maybe not. Alvarez will continue on. Bombito out to the far side. It was Sinclair making the run towards the penalty area. Ali Ahmed reshuffles the cards here. Cornelius gets it back from Davies. Well, as many of the recent Canada-Mexico fixtures have been, it has been testy, it has been physical, there's been a lot of talking. There's been a lot of wonderful play as well from both teams. It has been as feisty and fiery as we expected. And Raul Jimenez's goal in the first minute has Mexico, for now, at least on course for the final. Sinclair up ahead. It's going to fall for Ali Ahmed, who nearly slid it back through for Larin. Could still be a chance here. Osorio lays it off. Davies clips it across, headed down. Eustachio. Kone drives one, blocked on the edge of the penalty area, and it could be a chance for Mexico to break up the other end with Vega. Canada recover well initially here, but it's still Vega, a push and a chase. Still Vega, but a push in the back. And Canada will get a free kick to alleviate the pressure after a lovely effort by Alexis Vega.
Again, Mexico, when they counter-attack, they absorb the pressure, they counter-attack. Raul Jimenez's little flick there was absolutely superb, and suddenly they're on the front foot. Alexis Vega down that left-hand side is causing problems, and Canada have to get back in numbers and do some defending. So credit again, Mexico on that counter-attack in transition, looking really good.
Two Mexican defenders needed there to stop Alphonso Davies. And then Jimenez and Cornelius come together. It's a throw-in for Canada, it appears. Javier Aguirre disagrees with the decision, it appears. Both Javier Aguirre and Jesse Marsh have been just as fiery as the fixture itself. Again, both of these countries really want to come in and make a statement. There's no questions about that. Mexico have never won the Nations League. Canada haven't either. Both have lost finals. The last 3 editions, Mexico have lost 2 to the U.S. Canada have lost 1. Both want to prove that they're the power in the region. As Ali Ahmed, can he keep this in play? No, he cannot. He picked his head up at the vital moment.
There's a little touch there from the Mexican foot, so that should be a corner. And just to your point, as Canada and Mexico will both be hosts, and Jesse Marsh is hoping to be coach of Canada as host of the World Cup next year. So you want to be playing well when you are a host of a World Cup.
Like you said, Gary, it is a corner for Canada here. That's why Ahmed did not provide the service initially. Again, the referee making sure that nothing untoward happens inside the penalty area. He's got a thankless job tonight. And from the corner, trying to get a flicked-on header from Bombito, it looked like. Mexico will just clear it upfield, although Santi Jimenez is interested in this. It's like in the end, Johnston was able to deal with it initially, but Mexico tried to pick up the pieces here. Alvarado. And it's a forced pass back, Charlie Rodriguez. We are told that Mexico are getting a couple of changes ready. Looks like it's Luis Romo and Cesar Huerta getting prepared on the near side. Huerta in particular played a big role in the 2 legs against Honduras in the quarterfinal round, as there's time and space here for Osorio. And then Kyle Larin deflected onto the roof of the net. Hands on Canadian heads here, but they're going to get a corner out of it.
That so nearly dropped over the goalkeeper's head. That's why he's pulling the face he did. Huge deflection. But then look at it after that. It goes over Luis Malagon, and the keeper's looking back over his shoulder, and it goes over the crossbar as well.
Canada will get the corner, and it appears that Mexico will wait, at least for now, to make the changes. From the corner, it was nudged down. Kyle Larin will look to pick up the pieces, although Vasquez beats him to it. Then Larin steps back in front. He almost froze for a second there between those two. Mexico get the throw. And here come the changes. Alexis Vega, who's on the yellow card, he will leave. Huerta replaces him. And Charlie Rodriguez will make way for Luis Romo. Luis Romo scored big goals for Mexico at major tournaments. That 2023 Gold Cup in particular made a huge impact as Mexico were able to win the title 2 years ago. First 2 changes of the night as Raul Jimenez tries to move that forward. Mexico looking for a foul. Referee not interested. Here's Alphonso Davies. And Davies is upended on this near side by Alvarado. Canada not going to waste any time. Put it right back into play. Jonathan David. Ismael Kone. Time and space for Derek Cornelius to operate. There's Huerta again, played a big part in the last round of the Nations League for El Tri. Certainly could come on and provide a positive impact for Javier Aguirre's group. From the throw, Vasquez out of play. Huerta currently with Anderlecht.
And I'm just wondering when Canada get to make their subs, and one player in particular, Jacob Schaffelberg, got 2 goals in the last match against Suriname. That could be a massive addition, assuming that he's fit.
Oh, Jesse Marsh calling out a play with a sheet of paper here. X marks the spot maybe here on this Canadian corner. Ahmed to take. Can they find the buried treasure hidden inside the penalty area here? Ahmed pushes it past David, and then it's a brilliant challenge. Eric Lira on the back end.
Okay, the tackling from Mexico in the box, so careful. Just when a penalty might be on the offing for Canada, they win the ball cleanly once again.
Davies is the one talking with the referee. Again, Alistair Johnston was the one we were keeping an eye on because of the talking to at the end of the first half. He was slightly involved there with Davies on the challenge with Santi Jimenez.
Okay, Jesse Marsh has got Waterman and Segura and 1 or 2 others on the bench he can bring in to replace Alistair Johnston. And I do think that when you've got a player who's on a final warning, it's a very, very risky position, especially when you're 1-0 down. One mistake from Alistair Johnston, and I'm pretty much sure he'll be off this park.
Here's Kone. And Kone gives the ball away. And won by Cornelius. And a possible head injury here, yes.
He did take a knock there.
Cornelius needs some attention here. The one player for Canada not sitting on a yellow card. Have a look at that last sequence there with Cornelius holding his head.
It was a brave header. He came in big. I think he came over the top of Raul Jimenez there as Raul was putting his head back. And that's where the clash came.
We are told that there is a change in the offing potentially for Canada as well. We'll wait full confirmation on that. Another wave breaks out. Mexican fans joyful at the moment. Still about half an hour to play and possibly more than that. Cornelius back up onto his feet. Again, the winner gets Panama in the 2025 Concacaf Nations League final. The loser will play for 3rd place against the U.S.
There's some discussion going on with Jesse Marsh, and I think is it because Cornelius had to leave the pitch before coming back on when you get treated? Maybe that's what they're debating. But he's going to give the ball back because it was knocked out. I think that sorts it all out. Cornelius comes back on, everyone happy, and we proceed.
And the player that was standing just behind Canada is the player we're told is going to come on. Jacob Schaffelberg, who has been dealing with a knock or two on his way back from an injury.
He's mentioned 2 goals against Suriname. What a good player Jacob Schaffelberg is. Plays his football in Nashville. And when he comes on, that gives an extra bow to this string that Canada can put together, but they still haven't found a way to break down Mexico. And as this clock ticks on, Mexico are happy. They're just quite happy at 1-0, trying to catch Canada on the transition, on the counter-attack, which they do so well.
There's the change. Jacob Schaffelberg is on. Jonathan Osorio is going to come out. Schaffelberg actually scored a big goal for Canada against the U.S. in the Gold Cup a couple of years ago, although the U.S. did prevail on penalties. Plays for Nashville SC. It's his 21st cap. He scored 6 international goals for Canada. And now we're gone here in Englewood. And Canada will get a free kick here on the far side. Can Canada find fruit on a set piece here? Can they get the equalizer? Ahmed's ball in. Ooh, was up for grabs, certainly, but it just about went over everybody's head. Eustachio picks up the pieces. Eustachio's ball back in is dangerous. Goalkeeper commits, and Cornelius could not get it over the line. It was blocked by Edson Alvarez.
That is fantastic defending, because the goalkeeper was beat. They'd done the hard work, and Alvarez knew that he had to get his head to that. And Cornelius was coming in brave. He throws his head on it. He's taken another knock. But have a look at this ball. Keeper comes, doesn't get there. It's one. Now it's a 50-50. Two players go for it. Edson Alvarez just gets in the way there. Takes the knock. Both players clash heads. That is fantastic defending from the Mexican captain, Edson Alvarez.
Well, both players had suffered a head injury earlier on in the match, and both are going to have to be re-evaluated here. Heroic defending, like you said, Gary, from Edson Alvarez, who now is trying to stay on the field. Both are going through concussion protocol. Jesse Marsh feels that the tide maybe could be turning. Another close call there.
We were talking about in the first half why Canada don't knock the ball into that danger area more often, because they've got so many big players. Well, that's the reason why I was on about it. They've got a chance on those. It just takes a mistake from the goalkeeper, Luis Maligon, which he did. He comes, doesn't get it, they win it, and then you've got a chance of scoring those goals. So for me, Canada needs to do more of that in the remaining 28, 27 minutes or so.
I think it's fair to say Jesse Marsh has gotten well acquainted with Selvin Brown, our fourth official. But the big key right here is can Edson Alvarez and Derek Cornelius continue on with their respective sides. It's pretty pivotal that they do. Mexico are already a bit short-handed. Oh, and you can see the bump on the head of Cornelius where they clashed heads. Oh.
Well, that's tough now, because he's got to keep heading the ball with that bump already on his head, which is not a good situation. I'm sure there's a lot of doctors watching this thinking maybe not a good idea to go and head a ball when you've just already got a big lump popped up. But if he stays on the pitch, that's what he's going to have to do.
After the long stoppage there, it is going to be a reset on a free kick from Mexico that Malagon sends onto this near side. Both Cornelius and Alvarez want to get back in there. It's briefly 10 v 10 as the ball was intended for Schaffelberg, cut out by Reyes. And now a chance for Mexico to move this forward. Advantage is played for Raul Jimenez. Santi Jimenez could not get on the end of it. Key challenge from Bombito. Now Schaffelberg has time and space to run into here for Canada, and certainly has pace as well. Jacob Schaffelberg's cross is blocked by Vasquez, or beg your pardon, held off by Eric Lira before it could get all the way through.
That's great defending from Eric Lira. He's run all the way back. He's tracked Jacob Schaffelberg. Look at them side by side here. Schaffelberg just puts on the afterburners. He stays with him, and eventually Schaffelberg runs too fast for his own feet. But good defending by Eric Lira.
And it did come off of Lira, so it is a Canada corner. Ahmed to try yet again. Ahmed's ball in, Malagon again, not quite convincing there. An overhead kick helps out. Eustachio back into the penalty area, cushioned header away by Gallardo. And then the offside flag, it appears, has gone up, or possibly a foul inside the penalty area. Regardless, it's a free kick for Mexico.
Yeah, second time goalkeeper's comfort and not got it, which is only going to give Canada even more reason to keep knocking those high balls into the box.
Haven't seen a ton of opportunities for Canada to really press the way they want to in this game. It was something that Jesse Marsch talked a lot about in the build-up to this semifinal, but you have to remember the camps that these teams came into were very short. Jesse Marsch talked about that they didn't do the normal things they'd like to do in some ways as far as their camp routines, such as experiencing the city and the culture around the area and things like that. They didn't get the opportunity to do those kinds of things because it's a shorter period of time for these two Nations League games. And a player down from Canada here will have to be attended to. Looks like it is Ismael Kone. Canada are getting two changes ready. Mathieu Chouanière is getting set to come on, as is Tajon Buchanan for Canada here. We're told that Ismael Kone, who's just getting back to his feet, and Ali Ahmed are the two for Jesse Marsch who are about to leave us. And it's Kone first to depart. Chouanière is on. And coming in next is going to be Tajon Buchanan, who plays for Villarreal in La Liga.
Well, the last time these two teams met in the Concacaf tournament was in the Gold Cup semi-finals 2021. And on that day, Tajon Buchanan scored. They lost 2-1 Canada, but he did score, so I wonder if he can repeat the performance here today.
Mexico fans will remember, well, it was Huerta. Falls down in the penalty area. That was another challenge from Johnston. Referee waves and he appeals away. Mexico fans will remember, well, it was Hector Herrera who won that semifinal against Canada in stoppage time. Send El Tri through to the final, although it's a final they ended up losing to the U.S. They haven't lost many Gold Cup finals, Mexico. They are the record holders of that competition, but that was a rare falter at the hands of their arch rivals that year. And there was a coming together there on the far side. Gallardo commits a foul. Free kick for Canada.
Tajon Buchanan there getting the foul, and you know, when you get players come on at this stage of the game, they've got the fresh legs. Buchanan and Chouanière, Schaffelberg, they're the ones that have to drive the team forward. They've got that extra bit of pep in their step, and they've got to show it now because Canada need it.
Oh, the run forward there by Cornelius ends up losing out. Is Raul Jimenez's goal going to be enough to send Mexico on to the final against Panama? Santi Jimenez brought down by Bombito. Also has to tread lightly here on a yellow card. Free kick for El Tri.
Let's just see how much contact there is. Well, you could be very careful from behind. He shouldn't be doing that, Bombito. You're not going to get the ball, so don't risk picking up that second yellow card.
Buchanan holds off the advances of Luis Romo. Vasquez, handball appeals came in from some of the Canadian players, and then Luis Romo for Raul Jimenez. And Jimenez's pass was just behind Gallardo, who's fouled.
20 minutes to go. I think we'll start to get more of the slowing the game down from Mexico in this position. Every time there's a foul, an opportunity, just it's not so much bleeding the clock, because of course time gets added. It's more a case of slowing down the momentum and slowing down the game, and just making it difficult for Canada to get anything going.
We've just gotten word on the final attendance numbers here at SoFi Stadium. It's a pro-Mexico crowd, of course, just over 50,000, 50,295 packing SoFi Stadium here in Englewood. I'd say about 75–80% Mexican support, with the pockets of Canadian fans mixed in there, hoping that the likes of Schaffelberg can move this forward. It's a foul, it's a free kick. It's also going to be a yellow card on that challenge. Schaffelberg down in a heap. Israel Reyes sees the yellow card for this swing of the boot.
Yep, it was late. It is a foul, and that's that little extra speed that someone like Jacob Schaffelberg can bring coming off the bench.
Still doesn't seem to be 100% fit. That's kind of the indication Jesse Marsh gave to the media earlier in the build-up to this match, but could certainly be an X factor down the stretch. Or Jesse Marsh, of course, wouldn't have brought him on. Davies, clever to keep that in play. But it is going to run out of play off of his boot. It goes back to Mexico here. 19 minutes of the 90 to play before what we would think would be at least a decent chunk of stoppage time because of some of the injury stoppages in this second half.
They're not going to be in a hurry for any ball back into play, Mexico. That's going to test the referee as they get closer to the end of the game.
It's the 7th time these two have met in Concacaf tournaments. Canada have never beaten Mexico. 5 defeats, 1 draw. And they had the famous win, Canada, November 16th, 2021. That was a World Cup qualifier in Canada. I think I still remember scenes of Canadian players jumping into snow that was off the side of the field after they scored the 2nd goal.
Jesse Marsh looks worried there. They've tried everything, Canada. They just can't break down this well-organized Mexican defense, except as they put high balls in and Luis Malagon's come and not got them. That's the one time that Canada have looked really dangerous.
Eustaquio's header away. Oh, and the referees brought it back, I think, for maybe a little push.
Yeah, there was
from
a push.
Lira.
Exactly was. It's a very clever push. As the Canadian player was going to head it, he just pushed him so he lost his balance. Well spotted by the ref.
Schwaner. I think it was deflected over the top, and Schaffelberg, oh, was a bit clever there. In the end, had to be from Reyes. Schaffelberg, it actually nearly fell very kindly for him in the penalty area. And then it's a gorgeous back heel by Raul Jimenez. Huerta picks his head up, and he had Santiago Jimenez. Still could be picked up here. Alvarado. Santi Jimenez is tripped up, and it's going to be a Mexico free kick after the challenge from Eustaquio.
Eustaquio says no, but the referee was literally 3 yards away, so he's got the best view in the house as to what happens here. Is there contact? Let's have a look. Here's enough. Maybe not much, but enough, and the referee right on the spot. Oh, here's the back heel.
How good was that?
Brilliant from Raul Jimenez, 33 years of age, and he's had such a career. Fulham and Wolves, Benfica, Atletico Madrid. He played 28 games there for them, and then Club America, most of his games in Mexico. 110th cap for his country today, and as it stands, he's got the winning goal that'll take them to a final against a Panama side they would probably feel fairly confident of beating. Mind you, the USA felt confident of beating them. Let's see how that worked out.
I was going to say, count Thomas Christensen's men out at your own peril. Santi and Raul Jimenez. The brain trust over this Mexico set piece here. Looks like it's going to be Raul Jimenez. Oh, it's gorgeous! Raul Jimenez with a thunderbolt of a strike for Eltree. It's his second goal of the night. It could be the goal that sends Mexico back to the Concacaf Nations League final. Absolutely sensational.
That's a brilliant strike. Fantastic from a brilliant player. Took that first goal so well. He's led the line. Little back heels, little flicks. They've kept it going, Mexico. Their fans are loving it, but they've defended so well, and it's the defense that have allowed the situation where they can be 2-0 up. They've conceded nothing and given him the opportunity to bend it around. Now you've got to ask questions about Dane Sinclair. When you set your wall up, you set it up so that you can't bend it around there. And that's on the goalkeeper ultimately, unless his wall is moved without his permission. But you should always have one player outside of it. It's a good bend, but he should never get around the wall. But give Raul Jimenez credit. His manager loves it, Javier Aguirre. He's going to a final, and maybe he'll keep his job. Never easy in Mexico, it must be said.
Oh, just like we said with the first goal, in Mexico's hour of need in this CONCACAF Nations League run, they've leaned on Raul Jimenez. He's only gone and come through for them again tonight, not once, but twice. And it's double trouble for Canada. 14 minutes, they need to score twice. As we've already highlighted, they've had enough trouble scoring the one.
And Canada also have to keep their cool here because they're obviously frustrated, obviously upset. They're going to be niggled.
Schaffelberg, great take. Can he finish? Oh, was deflected across and then poked away before a follow-up attempt could come in from Buchanan. And I think the offside flag has come up. It's all a moot point.
But still good defending to make sure that ball didn't end up in the back of the net. Yeah, you were waiting for the flag to come up because he looked a mile offside. But let's have a look at the commitment there from Israel Reyes to make sure he won that ball. Absolutely brilliant from Mexico.
Yeah, to your point, Gary, he wasn't to know the flag was going to aid Mexico there. Jesse Marsh's side have 13 minutes to climb a very steep mountain here at SoFi Stadium.
I was just talking about Canada having to keep cool. They're going to slow the game down even more, Mexico. They're going to frustrate. And the last thing Canada want to do is fire back and get red cards at this stage of the match.
Johnston steps in not once but twice. Here is Tajon Buchanan. It's going to happen for Canada. It's going to happen very quickly. This is bent into the middle. Kyle Larin rising, not able to really get enough on it. Schaffelberg back across. Alvarez heads it out of harm's way, and Canada will settle for a throw-in.
Schaffelberg, such a good player. Pity for Canada he wasn't fit to start the match. Look at that ball he put in there with his left foot.
Davies with a long throw. There's a chance to follow up there, but Canada forced to reset, and Jesse Marsh is getting some more changes ready. We'll get to that in a moment. Alphonso Davies, this is his territory. His cross is blocked by Reyes and cleared by Edson Alvarez. That's not the best of touches back forward. Mexico will keep it.
If you're looking for a man of the match other than Raul Jimenez for Mexico, Israel Reyes has been brilliant. He has stopped almost every move from Alphonso Davies. He's kicked them off the line. He's been absolutely top class in defense.
Two changes here for Canada. Kyle Larin and Steven Eustachio are both going to exit here. Daniel Jebison and Tani Oluwaseyi are both going to come in for the final 11 minutes. Real fans of the beautiful game, particularly in the United States, will remember Tani Oluwaseyi maybe from his time at San Antonio FC, but of course he's really burst onto the scene with Minnesota United in MLS.
It's a good finisher, Oluwaseyi. If he gets the ball, he could still cause Mexico a few problems.
And Mexico are going to make a change here as well. That is it for Santi Jimenez. He gets a wonderful ovation from the crowd here. And he will be replaced by Julian Quiñones, another player who was key in the quarterfinal comeback against Honduras over the two legs. El Tri are 10 minutes away from going back to the Concacaf Nations League final. They will hope to put to bed 4 horror years in this competition without a trophy. Reyes clips it forward, looking for Quiñones. St. Clair rolls it back into play for Cornelius. Here's Tejan Buchanan. Surging forward here, Buchanan, but it's brilliant defending to recover there by Cesar Huerta. And it's a Canadian throw on the far side off the ricochet. Raul Jimenez will give a chase here. He's on a hat trick. And it's one too many shoves. He looks around as if to celebrate the goal. The flag long had gone up there, I think, from the assistant.
Yeah, it's time-wasting tactics, perhaps. I'm pretty sure he felt that he knew he'd given away a foul, and yet fair dues to him. You keep playing until you're absolutely sure the whistle's gone, but I'm pretty sure he knew. It's a good finish, though, again.
I will say it is getting louder and louder in here. I do wonder if that maybe impacted it, or if he'll tell you that. Buchanan perplexed that Mexico have been given the throw here, but that is the outcome. As Canada, you look up at the clock, starting to run very short on time, in need of 2 goals now.
It is almost like an away match for Canada because the crowd is 90% Mexico, and it's a huge crowd, as you said, over 50,000. So it does make it difficult for the Canadians. So the only victory ever against Mexico has come in Canada, and you can see why, because playing away from home, never easy.
Davies has to be careful here, as Alvarado on his hip, but Davies does escape. And Alphonso Davies is tripped up, free kick. And then the ball was kicked away, although it does help Canada, at least in this particular occasion, restart quickly. They don't have any time to waste. David up ahead. Ball is shaped out wide by Cornelius. And there's a coming together there. It's last off of Alistair Johnston.
He's saying he was fouled in the process. So some unhappy Canadians at the moment. And certainly the coach, Jesse Marsh, he won't be happy. He would have said to his players, we can beat Panama in the final. We really have a great chance. We just have to get past Mexico. Well, that's not easy when that man's playing. Raul Jimenez, he's been superb tonight.
Are those Mexican smiles going to go long into the LA night? 7 minutes to find out. And again, Panama, like you said, Gary, wait in the final. If it holds, Canada would play the U.S. in a third-place game that I don't think many would have seen coming, to be fair. Jesse Marsh will get well acquainted with his home country again. But they'll still feel Canada that they can get one back, that it won't be done and dusted just yet. But they're going to have to get it in double quick time. Johnston flipping it up ahead, looking for Buchanan. Oh, it's a miss-hit on a potential clearance here. Oluwaseyi was trying to get on the end of it, unsuccessfully. Bombito chops it forward. Threaded out to this near side. Alphonso Davies is there. Schaffelberg back to Davies. It's good build-up play, and then Davies again is blocked on the cross by Reyes. Schaffelberg looks to follow up. And Mexico do well to shepherd it out for a goal kick.
Shufflebird getting a little bit overexcited there, throwing his body in unnecessarily. But they know the clock is right there towards the end. It's frustrating. And there's 2 goals they've got to get. If it's just 1, you're in with the shot right up until the end. When it's 2, you've really got to throw the kitchen sink at the opposition. They did manage to find some Canadian fans in the stadium then.
Many have actually congregated around the goal that Canada are attacking in the second half. Offside flag is going to go up against Roberto Alvarado. And Canada are left with 5 minutes plus whatever is to be added on after that. Again, both goals from Raul Jimenez. The first goal is off a little bit of a mistake at the back from Canada. It fell kindly from Mexico. The second one was brilliantly struck around a wall that maybe could have been placed a bit better. Luis Romo sending it forward. Out of reach for Huerta.
Nothing subtle at this stage as far as Mexico concerned. Just keep it away from their goal. And as we mentioned earlier on, once they get ahead against teams, they're so difficult to break down.
Throw in for Canada again. Davies. Well, the touch by Cornelius, of all people, who played it across. It was dangerous, but it was behind Buchanan, who then commits a foul, and well, that takes all the air out of the sequence from Canada's point of view.
That's exactly what Mexico want you to do. As you say, just put the ball down. They're going to take their time over the free kick. You still got a lot of work to do. I mean, it's just a ridiculous foul to get, but again, it's the pressure of the moment. It's the frustrations that the Canadians are feeling. See this, all this time now has been wasted in this free kick. It's exactly what Mexico want.
Desperate times for Canada. It's going to be flicked back into the path of Dane Sinclair. Sinclair will try to pick somebody out downfield, maybe get a fortuitous bounce here. Awashai was in the area, then it was followed up on by Buchanan, but again, Mexico winning all the headers here in behind. And it's clipped up ahead for Raul Jimenez. Boy, would he love to get a hat trick here tonight. We're told Mexico have another change up their sleeve. We'll get to that. Davies gliding past a couple of challenges here, and then Davies runs out of time and space. And Raul Jimenez looks to lead Mexico up the other end here. Good challenge, though, on the back end by Bombito. El Tri had numbers. Before the ball was put back into play, I think Javier Aguirre, yes, wants to make a change here. Eric Lira is going to come out. And we will see Luis Chavez and that wonderful left boot of his enter the fray in these final minutes.
Some quality substitutes from Mexico, no doubt about that. This player is a bit special, plays for Dynamo Moscow. But he's the sort of player who can make a difference for a team in such a positive way. Strength in depth for Mexico, a happy bench, happy coach, and just literally a minute or so away from wrapping up this game, plus, of course, any added time.
And Mexico will get a free kick as well. Could be a decent chunk of stoppage time. But from a Canadian point of view, that's all they've got left. Luis Chavez, beautiful delivery as always. Comes up a little bit short. Clipped over the top by Alvarado. Volleyed centrally, but Sinclair is there. Quinones was the target on the Vasquez attempt.
I guess if you're neutral, obviously you'd love to see Canada score. You've probably been wanting that for a while now to make it a bit more exciting. But they almost feel like they deserve something out of this match. They've been probing, they've been working around the box. They've had a few little half chances, and only good defending has stopped them. But you don't necessarily get what you want in soccer. You get what you make happen, and they have just not been able to make anything happen against this really good Mexican defense.
Luis Malagón is on top of it, and there's 5 added minutes remaining. Now time ticking away for the Canadian supporters clad in red and white tonight. Mexican fans ready to celebrate. Get a chance to maybe undo all the voodoo in the Nations League final when they'll potentially face Panama. And here's Luis Chavez. That is why you don't give him time and space, because he can shoot like that.
He wasn't that far off. It rose and bent away at the very end, but you're right, he's got some talent. That left foot of his, quality, absolute quality.
Scored one of the best goals at the last FIFA World Cup in Qatar against Saudi Arabia in the group phase. Mexico won the game, but they did not make it out of the group phase of the tournament. In the end, it was Argentina out of their group, and Poland who got the final spot. Huerta putting all the pressure he can on Johnson and St. Clair. Davies has to be careful here. Gliding past challenges, doing everything he can, but he's dispossessed. Here's Luis Chavez. Alvarado. Jimenez across, blocked. And out for a Mexican throw as they look to get closer and closer to victory.
Yeah, good defending by Mexico, because they're not defending on the edge of their box, they're defending on the edge of Canada's box. High press there, keep them boxed in, don't let them come near your goal. No chance of letting Canada back into the match. Absolutely perfect play. This entire match from the beginning to end by Mexico has been handled really well.
Romo. This is exactly where Mexico wanted, although Canada will get a goal kick. 3 minutes left, though, to score twice. We're getting towards beyond unlikely here. Schaffelberg, though, wins the header. Tried to nudge it down to the edge of the penalty area here. Alvarez clears it out. Oh, it's going to be a corner, I think, here. Mexico were saying it should have been cleared out for a throw. But Canada are handed a set-piece opportunity, one that they have to score from to have any chance. Has to happen here. Oh, and it nearly did. A glancing header over the top by Moise Bombito, and that may very well be that.
But again, it just shows you how good Canada are in the air when they get good service. They've got that height advantage over Mexico. They've had it for the entire 90 minutes, and they haven't used it that often. They've played some of the free kicks short. We talked about that in the first half. And, you know, sometimes you can just play route one football, knock it high up, and try and win the header and then get bodies around it. They haven't done that much, but yet, when they do it, they get joy from it.
Raul Jimenez, the hero of the night for Mexico, has scored both of the goals, I should say. One in the first minute, one in the 75th minute. Mexico closing in on what would be a third Concacaf Nations League final. Lost their prior two at the hands of the U.S. And the celebrations are getting ready to bubble over here at SoFi Stadium. They only have to wait 1 more minute. Canada will clear it up the other end here. It's a handball in the end against Daniel Jebison. And Mexico are seconds away from claiming victory. We talked about a lot of different scenarios about how this game could go tonight, what Canada had to do, what Mexico had to do. It was a game that's been circled on so many calendars for so long. It felt like Mexico, even from the beginning, were answering all of the questions that were posed to them and really have never been out of control from start to finish. It's been a while since we've seen a Mexico performance like that, particularly at a major tournament. That's why so much pressure was on Javier Aguirre, the coach, coming into this game tonight. When was it going to feel like the old days for Mexico? Well, tonight is one of those nights. Mexico dominant in the Nations League semifinals. They eliminate Canada by 2 Raul Jimenez goals to 0. Raul Jimenez, the hero of the night. And Mexico will play Panama in the Concacaf Nations League final, hoping to end all of the Nations League voodoo at long last.
And they deserve it. Raul Jimenez, absolutely top class up front, but the defense, Edson Alvarez led that defense brilliantly. Israel Reyes was top class, Johan Vasquez, Roberto Alvarado. I thought they were fantastic at the back as well. Canada tried, and early on they had some lovely touches. I just don't think they played to their strengths, which is, you know, set pieces and being big in the air. But they had so much talent. If Jacob Schaffelberg had been fit from the very beginning, who knows how different this game could have been. But in the end, you've got to give credit to Mexico. As you said, from beginning to end, they managed this game properly. It didn't need to get nasty because they were always in control. Canada, I'm pleased to say, didn't get any reds. I thought it might happen second half. They didn't. So it's all ended up as friends and slaps on the back. But Raul Jimenez, you're still class, my son, 33 years of age. Brilliant.
He's the hero of the hour for Mexico. They beat Canada by 2 goals to 0. It'll be Mexico against Panama in the Concacaf Nations League final, a rematch of the Gold Cup final from a couple of years ago. And it'll be a pretty juicy third-place game, I might add as well. The U.S. will play Canada for the bronze. We'll step aside for interviews.
Alfonso, Mexico capitalized on their opportunities. Canada did not create many. The chance at a final is gone. What are the lessons here? Is this a setback?
No, I wouldn't say it's a setback. It's a learning step. You know, we came against a good Mexican side. I mean, they played well. They, like you said, they capitalized on their chances. And yeah, we can take this loss as a learning, you know, and move on to the next one.
You now face an American team that is probably as bruised as you are. How does Canada approach that game?
Yeah, playing against the U.S. is always tough. We know that there's history behind that, and we're gonna, you know, take this defeat and try to turn it into something positive against them.
That penalty opportunity it looked like in the first half. What kind of explanation did you get from the ref?
I got nothing. All he said was a foul. It's a foul for them.
Thank you, Alfonso.
Thank you.
Bueno, Raúl, un partido de ensueño, un gol empezando y luego festejar con tu afición. Un análisis de ese partido.
Sí, contento con el resultado, contento de llevar al equipo con estos 2 goles. Nos dio el gol empezando el partido, cambia completamente las cosas. Pero bueno, siempre es bueno empezar con el pie derecho, ganando. Y bueno, el segundo tiempo manejamos el partido. Cuando empezamos a jugar con el balón, fuimos muy diferentes, muy superiores. Entonces hay que tener la confianza de salir jugando desde atrás y hacer nuestro juego.
Obviamente el domingo el objetivo es ganar este título y celebrar con esta afición.
Sí, claro, a eso venimos. Desde el día que concentramos aquí, que llegamos aquí a Los Ángeles, sabíamos cuál era el objetivo y bueno, lo tenemos bien puesto en la meta y vamos por ello el domingo.
Gracias, Raúl.
Vale, gracias.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you to wrap things up. Concacaf Nations League, second semifinal of the night, the highly anticipated bout between Canada and Mexico here at SoFi Stadium in Englewood, California. It really did live up to the billing, but Gary, it didn't take long for the opening moment to happen. It ended up being a Raul Jimenez moment. Inside of the opening seconds, it was the start of the game, both teams still feeling each other out, and then the ball fell to the right man for Mexico inside the penalty area.
Yeah, good pressure from Mexico. They kept winning the foot of 50-50, so won it there, they got it there, shot coming in from Alvarez, and it just falls perfectly for Raul Jimenez. But the work had been done before that, getting the ball into the opponent's area, winning every time they tried to clear it. They won that 50-50. They got it back into the center of the box. Roberto Alvarado has a little dip there. Coming up now, there's the shot. Unfortunately, it just bounces off two Canadians right into Raul Jimenez, and he just tucks it away.
It happened inside of the first minute, just seconds into this semi-final. Quite the shock to the Canadian systems here. We all know Raul Jimenez, an expert marksman for club and for country. It showed again tonight, but Canada had their fair share of chances as well, Gary, particularly from set pieces.
Yeah, some nice touch play as well. I mean, you always look at them being a physical side in terms of their height, but they also could play some lovely ball. Alphonso Davies, they're just trying to get the ball across, can't, it gets moved around, and then the shot coming in there from Jonathan David over the crossbar. Those are the sort of moments I thought they could have done more with, especially Jonathan David. He normally hits target from there.
Didn't see as much of Jonathan David as we expected tonight, and then later in the half, Edson Alvarez scoring, ruled out by the assistant's flag.
Yeah, what a good finish as well. I mean, so difficult to get down and head that over the line. He was just partially offside from the ball that comes in from Alvarado. But look how he gets his head down and gets the header on target.
And then Canada, from a set piece, also had an opportunity to create.
Yeah, just recycling the ball here. Nice one coming in. Now they win their header. Goalkeeper comes, doesn't get it, it pops up. This is just top-class defending from Edson Alvarez. He knows he's going to get a smack. Derek Cornelius brave as well, the two of them going for the ball, and you'll see it in slow-mo. Keeper doesn't get it, he leaves an empty goal, and the two collide, but Edson Alvarez, look there, once again gets there first and makes a great stop. If that goes in then, wow, totally different game you would think.
Then Raul Jimenez with a moment of magic.
Well, the wall, you can't bend the ball, or you can bend it around, you shouldn't be able to bend it around the wall if the goalkeeper lines it up properly. So perhaps Dane Sinclair not just getting his angles right there, but take nothing away from the way he bends it around. It's a great curl on the ball. Brilliant strike there for the one and only Raul Jimenez.
That was in the 75th minute. The timing of the Mexico goal should be mentioned as well. They really factored in to how the momentum shifted in this game. And we mentioned it earlier, Mexico never really out of control. And this place went absolutely bonkers when Raul Jimenez struck for a second time for El Tri on the big stage here at SoFi Stadium. Both of the goals for him, both of the goals for Mexico in a 2-0 win that books a date with Panama in the Concacaf Nations League final. Canada will battle for the bronze against the United States. Look at the full-time stats here, just outside of SoFi Stadium. Shots on target, total shots actually leaned to Canada in the end, but the quality of the chances favored Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico were just so efficient around goal, mainly because of Raul Jimenez, and Canada weren't efficient around goal, mainly because Mexico defended so well. Again, Edson Alvarez's header at 1-0 up. If that goes, if he doesn't get there first, it's 1-1. Instead, they go down the other end. Raul Jimenez scores 2-0, game over. Excellent Mexico, both ends of the pitch. Canada, tough day at the office, but maybe they'll learn something from the way Mexico played this match.
And hopefully the neutrals enjoyed it. It was a wonderful game, wonderful occasion as well. And there's the confirmation of our final. Panama will play Mexico in a rematch of the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup final. And the U.S. will meet Canada in the battle for the bronze. Really fun night here at SoFi Stadium here in Englewood, California. Raul Jimenez, the hero of the hour for El Tri, scores both of the goals in the first minute and the 75th minute, and Mexico beat Canada by 2-0. For Gary Bailey and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long Panama will face Mexico in the Concacaf Nations League final. Thanks for joining us, and we say so long from Englewood, California.